I was recently asked by a speech language pathologist whether it is okay to have a parent serve in the role of an interpreter during an evaluation. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the positives and some of the negatives to that situation. Obviously, our ideal is that we have a trained interpreter who knows the testing process, who can sit and serve as the interpreter. In this particular case, we had a situation where it was a clinic setting, it was private insurance, an interpreter wasn't covered. It was cost prohibitive for both the family and for the clinic to provide the interpreter. And so it was the parent serves as the interpreter or there's no interpreter, right? So that one's clearly a no-brainer, right? We need to have an interpreter in these situations. Now, when we do that, we want to be aware of some of the positives and some of the negatives in these situations. So let's talk about a few of the drawbacks. One of those is potential biases, right? A parent may walk into an evaluation with a very specific idea about whether they think their child needs services or not. It could be a language influence and they just want extra support, right? So we want to be sure that we get the diagnosis right. So we need to be aware of those potential biases. Another drawback is that we're asking the parent to play two roles, right? They are there as the parent, the informant, and also serving as the interpreter, and that can be a little bit challenging. It's also the case that the parent may be very unfamiliar with what a speech and language evaluation looks like. Most of them are, right? And so we want to be sure that for each item that we are doing, the parent understands what information is okay to share and what information isn't okay to share, so that we're able to get the right information out of that evaluation. So those are some of the drawbacks. There are definitely some positives to having the parent serve in this role as well. One of those is that the child speaks the dialect that the parent speaks, so we don't have to worry about dialectical differences between the interpreter and the child. Okay, so that is a definite positive. Secondly, we have parents who are there and very engaged in the process, and that is an important piece for us. We want the parent to know what's happening in the evaluation and to serve as a part of that evaluation. So that is a key piece as well. And another benefit is that if a child doesn't respond, the parent generally has a really good idea about whether that child's not responding because they don't have those language skills, or maybe it's because they're intimidated in this testing situation. And so the parent can kind of help guide us in that area as well. So yes, there are some pluses, there are some minuses. It is not ideal. It shouldn't be our first go-to to have the parent serve as the interpreter, but it certainly is not a horrible thing if that is the option that is available to you. It is certainly better to have an interpreter than it would be to ignore the child's home language.